Hello, this was a video request by K55365. What do I do for fitness routine? This is the same person who asked me what I think about David Goggins, and I said that I believed in my philosophy is I believe in overtraining more than undertraining. That's the best way to look at stuff, because when you actually put it into practice, people tend to undertrain just from laziness. I could go running right now, but I don't want to. Maybe I will later. But personally for me, well, let me say what my life has been like lately, because I haven't been exercising, and so my training routine would be a little bit different than like a 20-year-old professional athlete. A 20-year-old professional athlete would just be spending most of the time doing their sport, perfecting their sport, and then spending not that much time doing the other supplementary stuff. But me, I'm trying to get my health back along with my fitness, so I would be focused more on stretching than and training a lot less, just due to overall laziness. Like me, I can't stop yawning. That's part of the physical problems that I have from not exercising. So for the last 7 years or something, I've been just sitting in bed doing nothing, with zero exercise. The only exercise I get is riding my bike to my mom's house every day or whatever, and riding my bike to the supermarket but every day. But the supermarket's across the street on the next block over, and the my mom's house is a mile away. So yeah, I've just been staying up I usually wouldn't even sleep a whole night. I'd stay up all night long and then work until the next day, and then I would sleep, might get my 8 hours. But sometimes I remember one day I went 3 days in a row without sleeping at all. So I wouldn't get enough sleep, and that's probably why I'm yawning. I never got enough sleep. I wouldn't get much sleep because, if you don't get any exercise, you need less sleep. And then if you're super hyped about work, that keeps you from thinking about sleeping. And then you only sleep when you absolutely have to. When you actually can't keep the eyes open anymore. And then you wake up as soon as I'm done sleeping. But basically, so what I did to keep from getting totally out of shape was I just didn't eat enough. I didn't overeat, and I didn't overeat because I was basically too busy working to think about eating. I didn't have the time to eat. It takes time to eat, and it also takes money to eat. If you're gonna eat fancy food, if you're gonna eat TV dinners, delicious microwave TV dinners, you're gonna get really fat really quick that way, because you'll overeat without realizing it. So I would eat by just canned food. If I'm really hungry, I would just grab a can of corn and or a can of mixed vegetables, or frozen mixed vegetables, and the cans, just dump them in a bowl and just scarf it down, and then I'm not hungry anymore. And then if I'm hungry half hour later, throw another can of something in and inhale it. Or if it's frozen, you microwave it and then eat it. And then I would eat protein powder for the protein, because I'm a vegetarian, and then hang out with my mom all the time, and she gives me really healthy food, steamed vegetables and stuff. But she's salmon, roadkill beef and stuff. But And that kept me from getting fat. And without getting fat, and with plenty of protein powder, I kind of curbed melting my muscles away and then gaining fat. And I was able to kind of maintain. But I did suffer. And see, I'm 51 years old, and for the last 6 years or 7 years, haven't done anything. But for the last 20 years, I basically haven't done anything except for a stint of lifting weights in like 2009. I'd go in for like a month or two, and then take a few months off, go in a month or two, mainly upper body stuff. And then I did a bike tour in 2010 for 6 months, but that was about it. And then I was a part-time window washer from 2013 until like 18 or something. So I so I would like ride my bike out to do the houses and then run up and down the ladders, and so that kind of maintained me a little bit. So I've basically mainly been going down physically for the last 7 years or whatever, because I haven't been getting any exercise. So, which was my fault. Like, I was just too pressured. If I was smarter, I would have been working with my legs spread out. I think working on a treadmill works. Working on a bike is good if you can do that, and I could have, but I was too pressured. Oh, and also I took a day off yesterday to get caught up on my website. There was this one thing that I had to do. I had to fix the images. And I kind of noticed that, like, yesterday, I was basically busy all day, like from when I got up until I went to sleep at like 10, 11 or something. And I had an energy drink. I had a C4 energy drink that I got at like 9 at night or something, just because I was back in web design mode. And but I still managed to sleep like a baby. So like if you're like thinking, and like even if it's super simple work, but you have to stay focused just to keep doing the work, the simple work, I think your brain just focusing burns calories. Your brain actually burns calories. And so that can be kind of like a form of exercise, like physical exercise, just by burning your brain, and you don't have to move. And the reason I'm saying that is because if you feel physically tired from doing mental work, then, your brain is actually using the energy. And so if you're using energy, you're not actually working muscles, but you're using your like chi force or whatever. So that's kind of like a form of exercise. But my body suffered because of it. So, like, for example, right now as I'm doing the video, I'm stretching my legs out, and that's after I do this video, I think I'm gonna go and try to finish the project I was doing yesterday, fixing the images, just making sure that all the little icons you can see an image have a link fixed on this one page, the North Europe 1500 to 2000 by timeline. And yeah, I think a good gauge of when I'm back in shape is when I stop yawning like this. So one insight that I had was, like, I used to be kind of athletic. I've been fit, and so if you're athletic and young, you can actually go a long time without exercising and maintain your health. Like 20 years or something, and then 50, you start to fall apart. Because like my left hip is super sore and it's tight all the time, and my left shoulder is like popping and hurting, and actually my left arm is like noticeably. It was like a little bit weaker before than my right arm, but now it's a lot weaker than my right arm, because it's the arm that's sore and tight all the time, and like less flexible, and then when I lift weights on it, it pops all the time. So like the atrophied was beyond just the muscle, and it was into the actual tendon and the ball socket joint and everything. So basically, if it took me so long to get out of shape, that means it would take a really long time to get back in shape, which is kind of like the bummer. So, you know, I could like, so it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of debatable if, what's the best thing to do, like, it's almost, you could make an argument that the best thing to do for me now today, if I feel groggy, instead of go out and run 10 miles, which I don't want to do because I'm too groggy, and I might get rained on because it's been raining off and on, is I could just stretch, because I need the stretching so bad, and my shoulder and my upper body is still so sore. And I can feel that I'm getting more and more limber, and the soreness is starting to go away. So, and the only thing that's gonna get my flexibility back is stretching. If I was just riding my bike and lifting weights all the time, I'd be getting tighter. I'd be getting stronger, but I'd also be getting tighter. So it's just there's no way around it. The only way to stay in shape, or especially get back in shape, is by spending time. And that's why I designed my website to be a time saver. Just ways to fortify your brain while you're fortifying your body, because it creates time, like gives you free time. But like, for somebody who's, and this goes for anybody, like, if you live, the more steady of a situation you live in, the better off you are. I did a video the other day called "Everybody Should Own Their Home," and one reason is that everybody in a living situation, whether it's small or big, they should have control over their living situation. And one reason for that is it kind of takes a while to figure out how to set up your living situation as a gym, because everybody has their limitations. And if you move into an apartment and you take forever and you buy special stuff for that apartment, and then your landlord kicks you out for whatever reason and you have to move, then a lot of the stuff you own could be obsolete in the next place, and then you have to set stuff up. And also you have to personalize your area, which could damage the property, and then you won't get your deposit back because you like drilled a hole somewhere or something like that. So that's another reason why people should have like rent control. Be like, if they have to rent, then they get to move out when they want to, and the people can't evict them, or they own their spot. It took me years and thousands of dollars to set up my apartment perfectly as a workout, like an exercise apartment. If I would recommend you have a stretch system set up, so like a bench and then a place that you can move your arms back, just try to stretch your arms really far back. Having straps like attached to the wall that you could hang your feet on, and it holds your feet out. Or something to hold on to at the wall when you're doing stretches down. I have a bench that I hang, and I can bring into my living room, and I can do my arms back and hold on to my couch like really far back and stretch myself like big time. And then with different arm angles, like that, like that, like that. And then stretching my legs while I watch TV on the couch, and opening up your hips. That is like super important if you can do the splits. I've never been able to do the splits. I've never been the most flexible, and since I've been trying to get back in shape, I haven't been able to touch my palms on the floor. But I think you should be able to touch your palms on the floor with your legs straight. And once you can do that, and I've been able to do that a few times in my life, once you can do that, you need to stretch enough every day to be able to maintain that and stay in a routine. There's really no reason to to completely forego physical fitness for any goal. You know, unless like you can't get out of it, like there's a due date that you can't get out. But if there's a due date that you can't get out of it, then I think the industry or the company you're working for, this senior in, needs to change. They need to try to work a way around that and like hire more people or something. You know, like making doctors work 24 hours straight and stuff like that is crazy. You know, nobody can be a good worker after that long, and a lot of people get like angry when they're tired, and like you don't want to have like angry doctors who are hard to deal with. But yeah, so you know, I felt so like my website was so important that I forgoed exercise, and I guess it's debatable. I mean, if you think you can bring yourself back, you know, I mean, life is about a challenge. If you want to give yourself the biggest challenge ever, let your body go to hell, and then it'll take forever to get it back. But as far as like yeah, like a daily fitness routine, I think yeah, a good mix of like lifting and cardiovascular is good, depending on like what you're focusing on. You know, if you wanted to gain a bunch of muscle, you'd focus on the lifting and doing some more cardiovascular. If you're more focused on keeping your weight down and being strong, focus on cardiovascular and do lifting. If you want to get really fit, and especially if you're like me and you're trying to get in shape again, like from being really out of shape, or if you're like a really fat person trying to lose weight, I think the very best way to do it by far is endurance exercise, endurance sports. Like me at my age, feeling the way that I do, if I lived in some podunk village where there was nothing to do, or in the city, I might be like really worried and like actually feel old and be like complaining that I'm old and all that kind of stuff, and kind of feel like it's over for me and I'm only going to go downhill. But I live in a place where I can do bicycling, like explore and do like a different trail every day for like years. I live in Boulder, Colorado, and I have a whole bunch of bicycles, and so I kind of don't feel. I kind of feel like I've got a second lease on life because I can do the endurance stuff. If you can get up early in the morning and do like a 5 hour bike ride every day, or like a 5 hour like hike or run every day, like that is the best way. It's almost like a secret hack. It's almost like it's not even fair. It's by far the best way to get in shape, because because you're having fun and you're out getting like fresh air and everything, but at the same time, you know, if you get really tired, like you bite off more than you can chew, the only way to get back is by continuing to go, and then you get really tired and you still have more to go. And so by the time you get home, you're like done. Like you barely made it back, and you're feeling the exhaustion that like your ancestors felt thousands of years ago when they were fighting for their survival. You know, that's what we come from physically, is like we're animals who are used to fighting for survival. And so when the body like I did a 5 hour bike ride the other day. I lifted weights all day long for the first time in forever, and the soreness is gone now. But when I did the bike ride, all of my muscles were sore. Like my pecs, my shoulders, my biceps, triceps, my abs were sore. And then I did a 5 hour mountain bike ride, which was like a mountain bike ride where you're like having to like, you know, hoist the bike over rocks and like do like, you know, you're doing endurance, but then now you have to do something that puts you out of breath every once in a while. And by the time I rolled back, I was like in a lot of aching pain, and I probably wouldn't have pushed myself that hard if I had been just at home on the rollers inside, you know, or doing laps around a place. So that's a good way to push yourself and feel the, you know, bonking every once in a while, or just getting like really achy, and and then your body has to recover, and yeah, that's a, and then you feel good, you know, you start to feel good. I'm not really in the, I haven't done it enough where I start to feel good. I was going to exercise today, but I had to work. I had to help somebody move. And then when I came home, I had to go to my mom's house to help her. So my day was kind of shot. In between the moving, when I came back, I actually passed out and had a nap. I did my vlog and was barely able to do the vlog because I was like falling asleep. So I must have worn myself out from yesterday working on the site. But but yeah, that's the secret is endurance, especially if you've already built your muscle. Like I kind of you can kind of see my ribs, and I have like almost a six pack now. I'm not that fat. I have a fat holder fat percentage thing that I hold, but I think it's totally inaccurate. I want to buy calipers, and I think I bought them sometime, but I lost them. They're in one of my Tupperwares somewhere, but I think they're more accurate because every time I hold the calipers, it says I have 33% body fat, which makes you a fat ass. I don't think I'm that fat, but I'm like 182 pounds last time I weighed myself, and I think I already like built like maybe muscle a while ago. So as far as building strength, I'm probably okay, and just the endurance riding and endurance sports is good enough. It's like the best thing for me to do right now. But if you want to do it like the bang for the buck way, I think the best exercise is this dumbbell exercise that I came up with, because dumbbells are like super portable, so you could even live in your car and have dumbbells. You would just have one weight, or maybe the adjustable weighted ones, but it's where you pick up the dumbbell off the ground, you do a full squat, and if you can you have your heels elevated because it'll work out your thigh better, but you do a full squat, goes down as much as you can, and then you stand up with your dumbbells holding them like this next to your head, and then once you stand up, you bring the dumbbells all the way up like that, and then you bring them down, and then you do the squat again, and you do like 10 of those. That will get your whole body. That's the very best exercise you could possibly do, because it's biceps, triceps, back, thighs, calves. It's like every single muscle, even hamstrings, shoulders. It's every muscle on your body except for your abs. So then after that, you could do like an ab workout and pull-ups or something. But yeah, that's like hardcore though. If you want to just do something that's easier, just isolated dumbbell exercise, like dumbbell presses at the different angles. So start it flat, do notch one, notch two, notch three, and then vertical notch. 3 sets of 10. So that'll give you every angle on your shoulders. But stretching is making sure that you're limber enough to do the splits. Is like way more important than people realize. Being limber actually makes you stronger. So like if you wanted to like, if you were training for like a bicycle criterium, or like a mountain bike race or something, you were like really tight, you would almost be just as well off just stretching all day long and not riding as somebody who would like ride but not stretch. Like if you had two guys, and one guy rode his bike to work every day and back, and the work was like 5 miles away, and he rode as hard as he could to work for 5 miles and 5 miles back as hard as he could. So he's getting 10 miles a day. And then there's the other guy who works at home, but he's stretching all day long, like while he's on the computer, doing really good stretching. And like those guys would probably have like equal training, like equal strength. Like if one guy can do the full on splits because he stretches so much, and his thighs are totally limber, and his calves and everything, but then the other guy actually rides, but he can't do the splits at all. They might be like pretty similar in strength, because I have experienced like stretching and getting really limber, and then getting on a bike and being like, wow, like I feel strong. Yeah, and then of course you can run. that you'd run better if you're limber. So that's like super important. And also as far as like you know, when you're aging, so you don't have to get a hip replacement. Whoever's super limber wouldn't need a hip replacement. So like I'm fixing to need a hip replacement in like 10 years if I continue like this. So yeah, I think once you're fit though, I think whatever age you are, was probably this everybody would need the same routine. So for me personally, when I get stronger, I would like to do weightlifting every day. Have the time to do weightlifting. So if I do my, you know, and you could do weightlifting either at the end or the beginning of the day. It's way easier to do it at the beginning and then just do the stretching at the end. But, you know, if you're hardcore enough, I don't know if I'll ever be hardcore enough to do that dumbbell exercise at the end of the day that I'm talking about. But like if you had to choose one exercise, running would probably be the best, because that's like a whole body exercise. You're having to use your back, and you're helping with your posture and everything. So like running every day is awesome. If you're trying to get back in shape, riding is the best way because it's easy. Especially like on a time trial bike when you're just resting on the arrow handlebars, because you're working your heart, and that's the thing that's the most important for like your body health. But generally, the more time you put in exercise, the better. Like the person with the best shot at being like a pro triathlete would be the person with all the spare time, because if you wanted the best for yourself, you'd just be literally exercising 18 hours a day. You would just be getting up, whether you're doing, because stretching doesn't take energy, so there's no excuse to not stretch. You know, somebody's like, oh, I'm just gonna hang back and do whatever. Like, you can do anything and stretch at the same time. Yeah, so I like kind of feel like I blew it by not, you know, stretching. And one reason that I kind of blew it by not stretching this whole time is because it took me forever to set up my apartment and design it. So if you're ever moving in somewhere or you're setting up your place, set up your place for stretching first before you do anything. Just get it all set up. Buy whatever you need to buy, like straps, set up the straps popping out of wherever, get a bench, a weightlifting bench, not just for the lifting dumbbells, but for using it as a stretch machine, like laying on your back and then holding onto the bottom of like a couch or something, with your arms down, or on the footrest of the bench, using the bench to stretch out your hamstrings, like put your foot on the footrest on the bench and trying to touch the end of the bench. And straps to, you know, like if you use straps, I have them in my bedroom, but I'm living in this room right now because I don't have a roommate, but I have my straps coming off of like a bench press rack I have in there where I can just rest my legs and then my legs go out, and yeah. And then also, yeah, with dumbbells and all that, and then you can get into a rhythm. But if you have a gym membership, I would get a gym membership. There's a gym literally across the street, a huge super gym, 24-hour fitness. And I had a membership there for like a couple months when I was trying to get back in shape, and I was going there with my mom all the time. It's kind of too bad my gym membership expired because I don't have the money to get another one. It's like $220 or something. Maybe it said $270. Like, they brought the prices up. But that's the best way, because you just go into a machine and you do a different machine every time, whatever machine's open, and you just do your 3 sets of 10. But you know, you can do that fine at your own home gym, but it's harder to get into the habit. But once you do get into the habit of working out, then that's kind of something that your go-to thing, and you do it all the time. Habits are formed by creating new dendrites around your brain, and it takes 90 days to grow the dendrites. They're the habit dendrites on your brain, so that your brain can synapses fire in a certain pattern that you're used to. And so try to be really predictable with your exercise. Do it all at the same time. And one good way to be predictable with your exercise, doing the same thing every day and getting up and going to sleep every day at the same time, so you can get up early every day. Getting up with the crack of dawn every day is super important, because you can start off the day like on the right foot. You start off with energy because you just rest, and then you just start from the beginning exercising, and then you can carry that through the day. And if you exercise in the day, then you feel good about the day and you can stay motivated the rest of the day instead of getting kind of depressed. But yeah, so but working out all day every day, that's how you get to your highest level of fitness. And you could probably be more fit than the average person, like an 80-year-old or a 90-year-old, all the way up until when you start to go downhill and die, all the way up until like 1 or 5 years from your death. You could probably be more physically fit than the average 20-year-old if you just train all the time. Like, you could run a marathon, you could do the body weight exercises, you could even be limber, and kick like the head of your dummy or something. So just set up like benchmarks and just try to never let go of those benchmarks. Like, if you can touch your feet flat on the ground, make sure you can do that every day for the rest of your life. If you can be predictable, and don't let other people manipulate you into doing stuff for them, take you out to drink when you don't want to, or whatever. And also, don't have too many like hobbies. Have a simple life. Don't have too many friends. Don't have too many things going on. Just try to keep it simple so that there's nothing getting in the way of you doing your routine. I'm setting up a website to try to make it simple for people to use their exercise while they in conjunction with getting in shape. Like, if you're listening to an audiobook, but the best way that you're going to be able to listen to an audiobook is if you're not pressured. Because if a little bit of stress will cause you to not want to be able to focus on the audiobook. You'll be like thinking. And then if you're thinking too much while you're listening to an audiobook, you'll just turn off the audiobook, because you'll realize you're not getting any use out of it because you're not even paying attention. And then you'll listen to some kind of brain candy thing, like somebody interviewing somebody, just talking shit, which those videos are more and more popular. And so it's easier and easier to listen to that stuff, because more and more like famous people are starting YouTube videos. But I think that stuff's going to expire. People are going to get sick of it, and they would have heard all the stories, and they will have known all the little trade secrets and all that kind of stuff within like 5 years. And I think people will be able to make a full circle back to then focusing on important things. I set up a history test on my website. I have the random number generator, but I actually have like a image matching history test. And so to practice the history thing while you're stretching or listening to a book to prepare for a history test while you're exercising is when you're doing that, like that, and then you can develop a habit doing that, then that's where you're really gonna start to do well. Yeah, and I'm not totally in the habit of that yet. Like last night I was listening to random stuff because and music actually. I was mainly doing music because I was trying to get this stuff done yesterday, which I didn't. After this video, I'm going to go and finish it. I have to, even if it ruins my day again. So if you're like sleeping all the time, like you're exhausted all the time, probably means you need more sleep. And there's something that your body is doing to recover that you can't feel. Like I needed a nap today, even though I didn't do any exercise yesterday. But it could have been that it was like recovery I needed from days ago, So if you get back in shape, don't expect to, don't try to push yourself or expect to get to the next level of fitness within a month and a half. I copied a alcoholic recovery thing because I was quitting weed and I'm on like day 22 or something, and they have it up to 42 days, and that's why I said a month and a half. So I guess for the alcoholics, it's 42 days, and then after 42 days, you did it. So if you're trying to get in shape and you're having like recovery problems, don't worry about, feeling like you have to exercise every day in the first 42 days or 50 days. After that, you've been consistent. Then you can start looking into exercising every day after that, and then you'll be able to get up and go the next day. So, and also like pay attention to what other people are doing, like the most successful people, and don't pay attention to them based on what they look like, because it's probably steroids. Like I saw a video and some dude, it was like a short, and some dude was like, it was like a channel, or I don't know, he was going around asking people what they did to look fit. So he went up to some old guy. He looked like he was like 50 or something, or maybe even older than me. He had like gray hair and a gray beard, but he was totally jacked. He was like muscular and he had the veins popping out of his biceps. And the guy goes, yeah, you're obviously jacked, so what do you do to stay fit? And the guy goes, 99% diet, which is code talk for steroids. Like they asked John F. Kennedy Jr. what he did to be jacked, and he's like, I do a bunch of I take a whole bunch of like pills and stuff that I can't talk about, or something like that. And so that's code talk for steroids. So like, pay attention to what they're doing based on like physically what they're doing, and not like if somebody can do like 5 pull-ups in a row, but like what they do overall, like people who are transparent. And then try to see if you can keep up with them if they're in your category, like if they're your age, and compete. Compete with you and compete with them. Try to use all of your exercise equipment and to be well-rounded. Like I'm looking at that thing and I didn't even know that was there. It's the like foam roller. So I'm going to try to get out today and practice my foam roller and just get in the habit of doing it and knowing where everything is. Getting started earlier. So what I was going to do today, but I had to work, and then the day got away from me because I made $100, but I had to help somebody all morning, and then had to go to my mom's house, and now I'm going to try to fix my website. So what I'm going to try to do tomorrow is get up at the crack of dawn and go into the bike park and just do the bike park all day long, do the jumps with all my bikes. And like, I have all these different bikes. I have like 18 bikes, so I can do like a different bike a day for like a couple of weeks. And yeah, if you're too tired, stretch. Just stay exercising all day. But I think everybody could help everybody be fit if they were just more competitive, or more transparent with what they do, because then they can be competitive. Like if I saw somebody who I always viewed I'd be more physically fit than, like a politician or an actor or something, and they're going on about how they rode their bike 100 miles, I'd be, it's kind of, you get competitive like naturally. But in order to be competitive, you have to know what other people are doing. Like if you pass somebody running, now you're competing them because you don't want them to pass you. It's the same thing you can do online. You see somebody do something and now you want to do it. So and also like the freaks, like the people who get really good at one thing, try to match them or get really good at what you're doing. So. But you're at the best if you can do like a big, huge endurance thing every day. Then that's the secret formula. Like, like I've got a job helping kids, teaching kids biking over at the bike park. So if you can get paid to do something like that, that's the dream job. So like when I go to work, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to be riding as much as I can. Like just try to stay active, like like ride up and down the trail as many times as I can, just to try to make an excuse to do that just as much as I possibly can and keep moving. If you ask a 90-year-old, there was like a 104-year-old lady who somebody was interviewing, who my mom even knows. And they asked her when, I guess she died, but when she was like 103, they asked her, and she's like, just keep moving. So, but lifting heavy is a really good, because it'll keep your joints from getting weak and popping out and like tearing, and keep you, and so mixing like lifting heavy with stretching is the best. Like if you could be like 60 and you're doing like hardcore, like powerlifting moves, and you're also like as limber as a ballerina, like that is the goal. That's awesome. And then on top of that, you can do like big, like endurance mountain bike rides. Yeah, that's it. So personally, my goal I'm 51. I can run a mile. I can run 10 miles in an hour and 52 minutes. I did that like last week. I can ride 50 miles on my mountain bike ride, without eating during it, like doing like 3,000 feet of climbing on the ride. So my goal is to be able to do something like that every day without having to, because the thing is, if you don't have insomnia and you sleep 8 hours a day, I could do that every day. I could ride 50 miles a day, and then that could go up to even more. My goal for like the end of the summer is to be able to do like a 200-mile, 20,000 foot road ride. I don't know exactly how many miles it is, but there's a road bike ride here where you ride, that I did it once without training when I was like 30 years old. I was like 32 or something, 33. And there's actually, if you don't exercise, the time that you get out of shape, where your strength precipitously falls, and I'm like super weak now. Last time I lifted weights, I did 3 sets of 10 dumbbell pressing 45 pounds, and that was like all I could do, like with good form. And like back when I was stronger, before I even started working out at the gym, I did 45 reps, and now I'm like 45 reps at 45 pounds. That's like, what the fuck? That's like stronger than I can imagine. And then after that, I went and bench pressed 225 8.5 times, and it's like touching chest all the way, extended arms, and like I couldn't even think about doing that now. So, so yeah, I don't know. I'd like to work back to that, but my goal for the end of this summer would be able to ride from Boulder up to Estes Park, go over the Rocky Mountain National Park, and then right into the other side, and then past Winter Park, go up Hoosier Pass, and then Central City, and then right on Peak to Peak Highway to Nederland, and then back down Nederland to Boulder. One big loop. It's like, I think it's like 200 miles or maybe 220 miles or something. It's like 30,000 feet of climbing. I did it once, and it took me 21 hours, and that was included like an hour of hanging out in Taco Bell. I don't know why I hung out that long, because I was hungry and it just took me a while to eat. But when I do it again, I would not hang out anywhere. Like, treat it like a race. Don't stop until you're done with the ride. And you could probably bring enough food with you to not ever have to stop. If you bring like 4 goos with you, 4 full-size goos, that's probably enough food to keep you going for the entire ride. And then you only have to stop like a couple of times to fill up with water. And maybe if you know where a hose is, you just go to some business and you ask them if you can use their hose, and just throw that hose into your water bottles, fill them up, and then you only have to stop for 5 minutes one time, and then you're back on the ride. So or if you have to, just wheel your bicycle all the way into the fast food place, and just tell them that you're only there long enough to fill up your water bottles, and you need your bike there. Personally, I would need to do it because my bicycle is a water bottle. I have a time trial bike where the water bottle's built into the bike. But they should let you do that. This is Colorado. I mean, they didn't let me bring my bike in like in Texas when I was biking, and like a Wendy's, which is stupid. But if they don't let you, just go to another spot. That's why you're better off, knowing where you're going, so that you know where you can refuel and all that. One way to do an enduro ride also is to bring like portable water filter with you, like a water filter bladder, so you can just fill up your water bottles from a river with your filter. You see a river under the road, just stop there, fill up your bottles. I think that's actually what I'm going to do, bring a water filter. That way you don't have to worry about anybody stealing your bike or waiting in line or anything. And yeah, so have like benchmarks that you go for, and try to be like the best, best in your town at something, best in your age at something, best in the world if you can at something. Like if I were to do that big, I call it the Grand Loop ride. If I were to do that, I could call myself the best enduro rider in town, because it's the best ride, it's the best enduro ride, and if I'm the only one publicly doing it, well, then I'm the best enduro rider, and if you want to be better, then do it, and do it at a better time than I did. So that's my goal. I think I could physically, realistically do that. But basically the best thing to do is just to try to liberate your time, and cut out the distractions. If you have friends that don't do that with you, you should probably ditch your friends and not have friends, and then maybe if your friends like start to miss you, tell them that they need to do what you do. And a magical thing happens with friends. When you change your habits, the people around you change their habits, like to an astonishing degree, when you wouldn't even expect it. Like you wouldn't even know that your friend wanted to quit smoking, and then all of a sudden you quit smoking and you're working out, and then next thing you know, they've quit smoking. And it's like obvious that they did it because you did it. And, like I quit smoking weed like a month ago, and then all of a sudden my mom decided she was going to. And then all of a sudden my ex-wife decided she and her kid decided that they were going to quit smoking cigarettes because I did, And, yeah, so you're actually not even just helping yourself. You're helping everybody around you. And then you can be social with them again by working out. I mean, you could working out is a great way to socialize, because you can encourage each other, and you need to rest, and the amount of time you need to rest between when you're doing your set is about the same. So you rest while your buddies do the set, and then they rest while you do the set, and you watch each other, and you can compete, and you can push each other, and you can normalize feeling exhausted, because you're both doing it, and can compete with how exhausted you can get. And so but baby steps is a good way to do it. Don't like totally push yourself like crazy from the beginning, unless you're young and crazy. I mean, if you can get away with it, do it. So, yeah, so my routine once I'm in shape would be to get up early. See, I have a job, so I wouldn't do anything to compromise my work. I wouldn't exercise for my job. But when I come home, I'd try to do like a workout. Like if I rode all day, I'd come back and try to lift weights if I have the energy, and if I don't, I'd stretch. But just constantly be doing something. And to mix weightlifting with endurance would be perfect. If you're an endurance dude, you should be lifting weights all the time and not think it's going to put on weight. What it really is doing more than anything is keeping you limber and keeping you strong. Yeah, and if you're lifting weights, you should be a cardio person. And if you're a weightlifter, don't let yourself get too tight, because it'll affect your strength. Like you'll look strong, but you won't be strong. And you'll look better too. Like your muscles will be more cut, and stretching can even like make you tired and help burn fat. So personally, I have a full gym. Like the more of a gym you have, the better. I have because then you can then try to use as much as you can. I've got dumbbells and barbells. So, but I haven't had a full lifting yet where I do dumbbells and the barbells. So anyways, that's what my physical fitness routine will be. I'm kind of like talking like theoretically mostly, because I've only recently done it, but it is kind of amazing. You know, the body, if it takes forever for your body to get out of shape, then it'll take forever for your body to get back into shape. But the body wants to exercise, it's used to it. And so that's why I think endurance stuff is great, because it kind of forces you to push yourself farther than you normally would, because you have to get home, you know. So deliberately go too far out. Like if you want to do a ride out so far out that you're so tired you can't ride any farther, and then turn around and come home, and now you're at that, oh shit, what did I do to myself? But there's no way out of it. Make sure that you have enough battery power so you don't get bored. Because listening to music, like, and also if you're older, you should be able to listen to audiobooks, I think, way easier than a younger person, because younger people are more like ego driven. So a younger person could listen to music and the music would help them, because now they're thinking about themselves while they're listening to music or whatever. But an older person doesn't really rely on that. It's kind of numb to them. So they could just kind of zone out on like a book and just try to focus on the book. Yeah, listen to your body. Different people have different problems. Like I'm starting to develop neck pain, and I don't know why. But like bad neck pain. So I'm going to try to focus on like stretching a lot and stretching my neck down. But anyway, tomorrow I'm going to go to the bike park and without lifting, because it's kind of a little bit of a full body workout to hit those jumps over and over again. And then when I'd like to get that in the morning. Hopefully it's not snowy or rainy. And then do as much as I can until I wear out, and then come back and lift weights and stretch. So that's my routine. Yeah, the more you do, the more wide range of stuff you do with the most frequency, the better off you're going to be. So basically the secret to getting in shape and staying in shape is that there's no secret. Like the secret to getting in shape is the more you do, the better off you are. And so there's really no such thing as overtraining, because, you know, maybe there's overtraining with your body on one thing, but you could always stretch, always. And there's always this thing called passive stretching, or what do they call it? Zen stretching, or yeah, where you just let gravity, like me, like this. You just let gravity do it, you know. And if I had straps, I could do my legs out. Ow, and there's my legs out, and it's just the gravity holding it out. And I'm not using any energy. I'm just relaxing into it. And then you feel the pain of the stretch, and then it becomes a pain tolerance thing, you know, that you can get used to. So just do whatever pain you can do. And even if it's a little bit of pain, you know that you're stretching, you know. It's kind of like that, what's that stuff called, that putty, where if you try to do it hard, it doesn't want to move, but if you use it slowly, it can move at its own rate. Like think of your fascia in your tendons as like that, you know. You can work it out slowly just by stretching. So anyways, that is my fitness routine. I totally ruined myself. Well, even for like the last 20 years, like when I was in Chile, I started working on my website. It was just copying and pasting like the Mahabharata, you know, and just trying to experimenting with different designs and rebuilding it. And I've been like not getting enough exercise since 2002, where I was just sitting around and my exercise was just riding back and forth from the bike, or from like teaching English, but I wasn't lifting weights. And so I wish I had been, but try to give yourself your own sense of accomplishment so that you don't feel pressured to do something. Don't get too like obsessed with something that doesn't help you, like making money. You know, there's probably so many rich people who get bitter and angry when they're older because they look around and they see poor people have better bodies than them, you know, and it's like all that good money did for them when they didn't even use the stuff, like the expensive gym equipment or whatever that they had. Like the money can help you by liberating you. So if I like made a bunch of money, I would, like, where I didn't have to work again as long as I don't spend money, I'd quit the job. I'd quit everything, sell everything off, and just live the simplest life I can so that I have as much time as I can to just sit there and work out. Just be like a sadhu And I think people who have no money or no jobs even, and just like homeless people who work out and get super fit would be great examples for society, because you can show you how you can be mentally healthy and be homeless, and break the stigma, and motivate people and inspire people. So so yeah, that's basically my fitness routine. Is that I haven't really gotten in the habit of doing one, so I'm mainly talking theoretically. But yeah, like I'd love to finish my little project today, and if I do in time, I would do some lifting today, like dumbbell presses, yeah, and pull-ups, and and yeah, and try to try to go to the. I'm not going to run today, too cold, but I'm going to go to the bike park and just as early as I can do as many like laps as I can and Strava it, and try to do more laps than I did last time, and pay attention to how many laps I did. Record what you do and make it public. Yeah, so that is my fitness routine. Sorry if it was a little bit boring, but it's particular to me. Thanks for the request, though. Talk to you next time. If anybody has fitness questions, I'll talk about whatever. Hopefully by the end of the summer I'll be fit enough, but I think I will be able to do the Grand Loop by the end of the summer. Talk to you next time.